Hey everybody, and welcome to the Deep Dive. We're tackling something really cool today, something a lot of you have probably thought about.
Yeah.
Improving your English speaking skills.
Absolutely.
It can be tough in the beginning, when you're learning any new language, but it's so rewarding, especially when you start seeing yourself making progress.
It is.
And guess what? We're going to dive into tips and tricks you can use all on your own.
Yeah.
You don't need a partner or a teacher.
That's right.
For these. So are you ready to unlock the secrets to speaking English confidently? Let's dive in.
You can absolutely improve your English speaking skills even if you are practicing alone.
Right.
We are going to explore some surprisingly simple but very effective methods.
Our source material has all these fantastic tips, and some of them might sound a little unusual at first, like talking to yourself.
Out loud.
Get this. Yeah. They suggest talking to yourself out loud. They also talk about using a mirror for practice and even having conversations with your virtual assistant.
I know.
Can you believe it?
It sounds a bit strange, right? But these simple activities are actually based on very important principles of how we learn languages.
Oh, yeah.
For instance, when you speak out loud, even if it's just to yourself, you get more comfortable with the sounds of English.
Yeah.
You start to feel the words in your mouth, and that helps build your confidence. Yeah. It's like getting used to a new pair of shoes. At first, they might feel a little stiff.
Yeah.
But the more you wear them, the more comfortable they become.
That's a great analogy. I totally get it.
Yeah.
So it's not just about speaking out loud. It's also about getting familiar with those sounds and feeling more at ease with the language.
Exactly. And here's where it gets really interesting. Our source suggests recording yourself speaking, then listening back to it.
Interesting.
Think of it like being your own pronunciation coach.
Yeah.
You can hear where you might need to improve and work on those specific sounds.
That's actually a really clever idea. It's like having a personal trainer for your English speaking skills.
Exactly.
So we've got talking out loud, recording ourselves. And what about that mirror thing?
The mirror. That's another fantastic technique, especially for practicing your nonverbal communication.
Okay. Remember,
communication is not just about words.
Right.
Your facial expressions, your hand gestures, they all play a role in how you convey your message. The mirror helps you become aware of those nonverbal cues and use them effectively.
So it's like you're practicing for a big presentation, but the audience is just yourself in the mirror.
Yeah.
And by doing this, you can really boost your confidence to become a more expressive speaker.
Precisely. Now let's move on to another interesting tip from our source. Reading texts aloud.
Okay.
You can grab a book, an article, anything that interests you, and just start reading it out loud.
Okay.
This helps you practice pronunciation rhythm and even expand your vocabulary.
Got it.
And if you want to add a bit of fun, try mimicking native speakers from audio recordings.
Oh, fun.
You'll be amazed at how much you can learn by simply imitating how they speak.
That sounds like a really enjoyable way to practice.
Yeah.
I can imagine choosing a scene from my favorite movie and trying to sound just like the actors.
That's the spirit. It's all about making it fun and engaging.
Yeah.
And all of these techniques, talking to yourself, using a mirror, reading aloud, they contribute to a very important concept in language learning. Immersion.
Okay.
It's like surrounding yourself with the language as much as possible, even when you're practicing alone.
That makes sense. The more you expose yourself to the language, the more natural it will become.
Exactly. Now let's switch gears a bit and talk about how we can use technology to improve our speaking skills.
I love that idea. Technology can be such a powerful tool for learning.
It is.
What does our source have to say about that?
Well, there's a wealth of educational apps out there that are like having a personalized tutor in your pocket. These apps offer structured exercises, pronunciation practice, and even feedback on your speaking, all tailored to your level and goals.
So even if you're learning solo, you can still have that guidance and support.
Absolutely. And there's another simple but effective technique mentioned in our source. Repeating new words and sentences. You might be thinking, really? Is that all?
Yeah.
But let me tell you, repetition is incredibly powerful when it comes to language learning.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more about why repetition is so important.
Okay, think of it this way. Every time you repeat a new word or phrase out loud, you're actually creating stronger connections in your brain.
Really?
It's like building a muscle.
Yep.
The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
Interesting.
So by repeating new language, you're making it easier for your brain to remember and access those words and phrases later on.
Okay.
And that, my friend, is the key to fluency.
Wow, that's amazing. So it's not just about rote memorization. It's about training your brain to use the language naturally.
Exactly.
I'm starting to see a pattern here.
Yeah.
All of these tips, from talking to yourself to using apps, they're all about making English a part of your daily life in a fun and engaging way.
You got it. And speaking of fun and engaging, our source suggests setting daily speaking challenges for yourself.
Okay.
It's a fantastic way to stay motivated and track your progress.
Challenges. I like the sound of that. What kind of challenges are we talking about here?
Well, it could be anything that gets you speaking. You could choose a topic and talk about it for a few minutes, or try describing your day, or even summarize a book or movie you've enjoyed.
So it's like giving yourself little mini missions to accomplish each day.
Exactly. And you know what's even more interesting? Our source suggests talking to your virtual assistant as a way to practice your English.
Wait, what? Talking to my virtual assistant?
Yes.
Like Siri or Alexa?
Think about it. Virtual assistants are designed to understand and respond to natural language.
Yeah.
They can answer your questions, provide information, and even engage in casual conversations.
Yeah.
So why not use them as a language learning tool?
That's brilliant. I use my virtual assistant all the time for things like setting reminders and playing music, but I never thought of using it to practice my English.
It's a fantastic way to get some extra speaking practice in without even having to leave your house. You can ask your virtual assistant about the weather, get the latest news updates, or even just chat about your day.
I love how this tip turns everyday technology into a language learning opportunity. It's like having a conversation partner available 24/7, ready to chat whenever you are.
Precisely. It's all about finding creative ways to incorporate English into your daily routine.
Yeah.
And the best part is it doesn't have to feel like studying at all.
Right.
It can be fun, engaging, and even a little bit silly at times.
I love that approach. It takes the pressure off and makes learning English feel more like a natural part of your life.
Yeah.
This is all so fascinating. I'm already feeling inspired to try some of these tips myself.
That's fantastic. And remember, the most important thing is to be patient with yourself.
Right.
Learning a language takes time and effort. There will be days when you feel more motivated than others.
Sure.
And that's perfectly okay.
Yeah.
The key is to keep going, even if it's just for a few minutes each day.
You're so right. It's like building any new habit, consistency is key.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm really taking away from all of this is that learning English doesn't have to be a chore.
Oh,
It can be an enjoyable and rewarding experience.
absolutely.
And with the right mindset and these fantastic tips, anyone can achieve their language goals.
Absolutely. So are you ready to move on to some even more engaging and effective techniques?
You bet I am. Let's keep diving deeper into the world of English learning.
All right, then. Let's explore some more immersive and enjoyable ways to boost your speaking skills. Remember how we were talking about immersion? Well, our source has some really fun ideas for how to immerse yourself in English, even if you're at home. And the best part is these tips don't even feel like studying.
Okay, I'm all ears. Tell me more about these fun immersion techniques.
One of the simplest and most enjoyable ways to immerse yourself in English is by watching movies and TV shows. Now I know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
I already do that.
Ah,
But here's the twist. Instead of just passively watching, try to actively engage with the language.
I see where you're going with this. So it's not just about entertainment anymore. It's
Yeah.
about paying attention to the language itself.
Exactly. Listen carefully to how native speakers pronounce words. Pay attention to the rhythm and intonation of their speech and try to pick up new vocabulary. And here's a fun challenge. Try mimicking the actors. Repeat their lines out loud. Try to copy their accent and intonation. It's like a playful way to train your ear and your mouth at the same time.
I love that idea. It's like turning movie night into a language learning adventure.
Yeah.
I can imagine myself trying to sound just like my favorite actors using their lines in everyday conversations.
Yeah, that's the spirit. And, mimicking native speakers is more than just a fun exercise. It's actually a very effective way to improve your pronunciation and fluency. When you imitate how native speakers speak, you're internalizing the subtle nuances of the language, the stress patterns, the connected speech, the little things that make English sound natural.
So it's like you're absorbing the language through osmosis. By surrounding yourself with authentic English, you're naturally picking up the patterns and rhythms of the language.
Precisely. And speaking of surrounding yourself with English, our source suggests setting daily speaking challenges to boost your practice and make it more engaging. Think of it like a game. Give yourself a specific task to accomplish each day, something that pushes you a little bit outside of your comfort zone.
Challenges, huh? I'm up for it. Give me some examples.
Okay, here are a few ideas. You could challenge yourself to speak for 5 minutes straight about a specific topic, like your dream vacation or your favorite hobby. You could try ordering your coffee in English or giving directions to a stranger. You could even try having a short conversation with a friend or family member in English.
I love how these challenges are all about real-life situations. It's not just about memorizing grammar rules, it's about actually using the language to communicate.
Exactly. And, even if you make mistakes, that's perfectly okay. Mistakes are part of the learning process. The important thing is to keep practicing and challenging yourself to improve.
So it's like those workout challenges where you push yourself a little bit further each day. Even if you don't see results immediately, you know that every little bit of effort is adding up.
Precisely. And, there's one more tip from our source that I think is particularly ingenious. Talking to your virtual assistant as a way to practice your English.
Wait, what? Talking to my virtual assistant?
Yeah.
Like Siri or Alexa?
Yes. Think about it. Virtual assistants are designed to understand and respond to natural language. They can answer your questions, provide information, and even engage in casual conversations. So why not use them as a language learning tool?
That's actually brilliant. I use my virtual assistant all the time for things like setting reminders and playing music, but I never thought of using it to practice my English.
It's a fantastic way to get some extra speaking practice in without even having to leave your house. You can ask your virtual assistant about the weather, get the latest news updates, or even just chat about your day.
I love how this tip turns everyday technology into a language learning opportunity. It's like having a conversation partner available 24/7, ready to chat whenever you are.
Exactly. And what's really amazing about all of these tips is that they're all about making English a part of your life, not just something you study from a textbook.
Yeah.
It's about finding fun and engaging ways to interact with the language, whether it's through movies, challenges, or even just chatting with your virtual assistant.
This is all so eye-opening. I'm starting to see how learning English can be a truly enjoyable and rewarding experience.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, even with all these fun techniques, there's still times when I feel a bit discouraged. Like, what if I don't see progress as quickly as I'd like? How do I stay motivated on this language learning journey?
That's a great question. And, feeling discouraged is perfectly normal. Learning any new language takes time and effort. There will be ups and downs, moments of frustration, and times when you feel like giving up.
So how do we overcome those feelings and stay on track? Do you have any advice for our listeners who might be struggling with motivation?
Absolutely. First and foremost, remember that you're not alone. Everyone who learns a new language goes through their same feelings of doubt and discouragement. It's all part of the process. The key is to not let those feelings derail you.
So it's about acknowledging those feelings, but not letting them take over.
Exactly. And here are a few practical tips for staying motivated. First, set realistic goals for yourself. Don't try to learn everything at once. Break down your learning into smaller, manageable chunks. For example, instead of saying, I'm going to be fluent in English in 3 months, set a goal to learn 5 new words every day or to have a short conversation in English once a week.
That's a great point. Smaller goals feel much more achievable and can help build momentum.
Exactly. And when you achieve those smaller goals, celebrate your successes. Acknowledge your progress no matter how small. Every step forward is a step in the right direction.
So it's about focusing on the positive and giving ourselves credit for the effort we're putting in.
Absolutely. And, another great way to stay motivated is to find a language learning buddy or join a community of learners. Having someone to share your struggles and successes with can make a huge difference.
That makes sense. It's like having a workout buddy who keeps you accountable and motivated.
Exactly. And lastly, remember to make language learning fun. If you're not enjoying the process, you're less likely to stick with it. So find activities that you genuinely enjoy, whether it's watching movies, listening to music, or reading books in English.
I love that reminder. Learning English shouldn't feel like a chore. It should be an enjoyable and enriching experience.
Precisely. So even when you feel discouraged, remember these tips. Set realistic goals, celebrate your successes, find a language buddy, and make it fun.
Those are fantastic tips. I feel like I've learned so much already about how to approach language learning with the right mindset.
That's great to hear. And as we've been talking about all these amazing tips and techniques, one thing has become crystal clear to me. The true power of language learning goes far beyond just being able to speak another language.
Well, I'm intrigued. Tell me more about this deeper meaning of language learning.
Well, think about it. When you learn a new language, you're not just learning words and grammar rules. You're opening yourself up to a whole new world of experiences, perspectives, and connections.
Wow, that's a powerful way to look at it. So it's not just about communication, it's about expanding our horizons and understanding the world in a different way.
Exactly. When you learn a new language, you gain access to a whole new culture, a whole new way of thinking and seeing the world. You can connect with people from different backgrounds, read books, and watch movies that were previously inaccessible to you, and even travel to new places with more confidence and ease.
It's like unlocking a hidden door to a whole new universe of possibilities.
Precisely. And, learning English in particular can be incredibly empowering. English is a global language spoken by millions of people around the world. By learning English, you're not just improving your communication skills, you're opening doors to new opportunities in your personal and professional life.
That's such an inspiring thought. It makes me realize that language learning is an investment in myself, in my future, and in my ability to connect with the world around me.
Absolutely. So as you continue on your English learning journey, remember that you're not just learning a language, you're expanding your world and enriching your life in countless ways.
That's such a beautiful message. I feel so motivated and excited to keep exploring the world of English learning.
That's fantastic to hear. And as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of English learning, I want to leave our listeners with a final thought.
Yes, please share. I'm sure our listeners are eager to hear your final words of wisdom.
Well, I want to remind everyone that the journey of learning English is not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about embracing the challenges, celebrating the successes, and never giving up on your dream of speaking English with confidence.
Those are such wise words. Progress over perfection. I love that.
And, even the smallest steps forward can make a big difference over time. So keep practicing, keep exploring, and keep believing in yourself.
I think that's a perfect note to end on. It's been such an inspiring conversation. And, as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of English learning, I want to leave our listeners with one final challenge.
Oh, I love a good challenge. What do you have in mind?
I challenge each and every one of you listening to make one small change to your daily routine to incorporate more English practice. It doesn't have to be anything drastic.
Okay.
It could be as simple as setting aside 5 minutes to chat with your virtual assistant, adding English subtitles to your favorite show, or even just thinking about your day in English.
That's a fantastic challenge. And, those small changes, those little moments of practice, they all add up over time. They create a ripple effect that can lead to amazing progress.
Exactly. It's like planting a tiny seed. With consistent care and attention, it can grow into a beautiful and strong tree.
And remember, the most important thing is to enjoy the journey. Learning English should be a fun and rewarding experience. So find what works for you, embrace the challenges, and celebrate your successes.
I think that's the perfect takeaway from our deep dive today. Learning English is not just about mastering grammar rules or memorizing vocabulary lists. It's about opening yourself up to a whole new world of possibilities, connecting with people from different cultures, and expressing yourself with confidence and joy.
Beautifully said. So to all our listeners out there, keep learning, keep growing, and keep sharing your voice with the world.
That's it for this deep dive into the world of English learning. We hope you've gained some valuable insights and practical tips to boost your speaking skills.
And remember, consistency is key. Even the smallest efforts can lead to significant progress over time.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.